everybody. Is it a reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
Tiffany Henyard, once celebrated as the first female mayor of Dolton and a pioneering figure for the community, now finds herself engulfed in a political scandal that has shaken the small Illinois village to its foundation. Her tenure, initially praised for breaking gender barriers, is now overshadowed by grave accusations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and abuse of power. As she fights to maintain her position, the mayor faces increasing scrutiny, with both residents and critics raising serious concerns about her leadership and decision-making. The allegations against Henyard are severe, with claims suggesting that she strategically appointed unqualified allies to crucial positions in an effort to consolidate her authority and further her personal interests. Furthermore, it has been alleged that she misappropriated state funds to finance personal luxuries, thereby deepening the divide between her and the very community she was elected to serve. What was once viewed as an inspiring political ascent is now perceived by many as a desperate attempt to preserve her own influence at the expense of the public trust. Public outrage has erupted, with residents expressing profound feelings of betrayal, disillusionment, and a growing distrust not only towards Henyard but also towards the political system that enabled her rise to power. This controversy has exposed deep divisions within the community, leaving many questioning how such misconduct could have gone unchecked for so long. The situation took a dramatic turn when Henyard's romantic partner came forward to testify against her, providing crucial evidence that further reinforced the allegations of corruption. His testimony has added significant credibility to the case, making it increasingly difficult for even her most steadfast supporters to justify or defend her actions. As more details of Henyard's alleged misconduct emerge, the community's sense of betrayal has only intensified. While she has dismissed the accusations as politically motivated attacks designed to tarnish her reputation, her defense appears increasingly fragile in the face of mounting evidence. Her opponents have capitalized on the scandal, framing the charges as a necessary reckoning for an administration marked by unchecked power and mismanagement. The ongoing drama has captivated the community, turning Henyard's political downfall into a spectacle more reminiscent of a political thriller than reality. For Henyard, this moment represents a critical juncture in her political career. With each new revelation, the likelihood of her surviving this scandal diminishes. As the investigation unfolds, it becomes evident that both her reputation and the community's trust have suffered irreparable damage. Many residents are beginning to question not only Henyard's future, but also Dolton's ability to recover from the devastation caused by her leadership. Once hopeful for progress under her administration, the village now faces an uncertain future as confidence in its political system continues to erode. While Henyard's supporters cling to the belief that the accusations are part of a calculated effort to sabotage her vision for Dolton, her critics grow increasingly confident that her political career is approaching its end. Investigations into her actions have uncovered alarming evidence of unauthorized appointments to key positions without proper approval from Dolton's Board of Trustees. If these allegations prove true, they would indicate a blatant disregard for the legal processes designed to ensure accountability in local governance. The political upheaval in Dolton has become a tangled web of personal betrayals, power struggles, and public disillusionment, with Henyard at its epicenter. As the investigation deepens, it is becoming increasingly clear that the scope of corruption and mismanagement may be far greater than initially suspected. With the Federal Bureau of Investigation now involved, the possibility of federal charges looms large over Henyard, and the walls appear to be closing in on her. The community, once optimistic about progress, is now confronting the stark reality that the political system which allowed Henyard to rise to power may have been deeply flawed and corrupt from the beginning. For the residents of Dolton, the pressing question is no longer whether Henyard will weather this storm, but whether the village itself can recover from the damage inflicted by her leadership. The trust that was once placed in Henyard's administration has been thoroughly shattered, and it remains uncertain whether Dolton will ever fully recover from the fallout of her tenure. The unfolding political scandal surrounding Henyard serves as a stark reminder of the corrupting influence of power and how quickly a promising political career can unravel when trust is broken and the truth is exposed. As the investigation continues and new revelations emerge, all eyes remain fixed on Henyard. Her supporters and her critics waiting to see how this dramatic saga will ultimately conclude. The impact of her downfall is already being felt across Dolton, and it is uncertain whether the community will ever fully regain its stability after the damage caused by her time in office.
I've got some books that's in there. Inside I have from the United States District Court.
Tiffany Henyard's political downfall has become a tale marked by defiance, mounting controversy, and the erosion of public trust. Henyard's rise to power as the first female mayor of Dolton, Illinois, was celebrated as a historic achievement. But what began as a moment of progress soon unraveled into a series of missteps, legal challenges, and accusations that have left the town grappling with the consequences of her leadership. Henyard's first controversial decisions revolved around her attempts to appoint key figures to critical positions in the village, including the village attorney, police chief, and village administrator. These appointments were intended to exert significant control over how Dolton was run, but they soon came under fire for not meeting legal standards. A judge swiftly intervened, blocking the appointments and citing the failure to follow proper legal procedures. Instead of adjusting her approach to align with the law, Henyard doubled down, surrounding herself with individuals who lacked the qualifications or authority for the positions. This defiant move sparked a standoff between her administration, the judicial system, and the village trustees. Henyard's refusal to comply with the ruling demonstrated a clear disregard for governance norms, causing alarm among residents and critics alike. It became apparent that she was more interested in consolidating power than in ensuring the town was governed by fair, competent leadership. The defiance Henyard exhibited was not subtle. Her repeated actions not only ignored legal orders but appeared to be an attempt to assert dominance and undermine any potential challengers within her administration. She seemed to be building a team of loyalists who would not challenge her authority rather than appointing individuals based on merit or the needs of the community. To many, it became evident that Henyard was prioritizing her own political power over the welfare of Dolton's residents. Rather than stepping back and addressing concerns raised by the legal system, Henyard seemed emboldened by the controversy, pushing forward with a leadership style that many viewed as increasingly autocratic. The situation became more divisive as those who once supported her began to distance themselves. Henyard's refusal to compromise, paired with her growing sense of entitlement, created an atmosphere of tension within the village. Residents who had once celebrated her election as a historic moment now found themselves questioning her commitment to fairness, justice, and community service. As the situation worsened, Henyard's administration became a focal point for criticism. Local headlines were filled with stories about her refusal to comply with judicial orders, her disregard for the rule of law, and her contentious relationship with the village trustees. The growing sense of distrust, especially as her administration clashed with the board, painted Henyard's leadership as one that thrived on confrontation instead of cooperation. The most alarming aspect of this ongoing saga was the extent to which Henyard appeared to prioritize her personal ambitions over the needs of the village. Rather than working toward consensus building, she fostered an atmosphere of division. Her actions suggested that her focus had shifted from serving the community to preserving her own power and control. As the controversy continued to escalate, Henyard's once ardent supporters grew increasingly difficult to find. Evidence of her controversial decisions, coupled with her inability to collaborate with others, made it clear that her leadership style was becoming a liability for the community. The village's political climate, already tense, grew more volatile as questions arose about the long-term implications of her actions. Henyard's blatant disregard for the law raised serious concerns about the integrity of Dolton's political system. Her refusal to adhere to the rulings of the judiciary and her consistent attempts to consolidate power suggested a dangerous erosion of checks and balances within the local government. The situation left many residents wondering what the future held for their town if Henyard continued to wield such unchecked authority. However, the most explosive development came in the form of a witness testimony that sent shockwaves through the community. A figure who had previously been considered peripheral to the unfolding drama suddenly came forward with explosive allegations that could very well spell the end of Henyard's political career. According to the testimony, Henyard, once hailed as Dolton's first female mayor, had been abusing her office for personal gain. The accusations were severe, alleging a pattern of financial misconduct that prioritized Henyard's luxurious lifestyle over the needs of the community. The witness claimed that Henyard had used municipal funds to finance extravagant vacations, make lavish purchases, and indulge in other personal luxuries. In the midst of this alleged financial mismanagement, Dolton's residents were left to bear the brunt of her actions, struggling as essential community programs went underfunded. But the accusations did not end with financial misconduct. The testimony also accused Henyard of engaging in bribery and misusing her power to strike under-the-table deals with local businesses. These deals allegedly involved accepting payments in exchange for favorable treatment, fast-track permits, and the overlooking of established rules and regulations. If true, these actions would demonstrate a shocking abuse of power, turning public service on its head in favor of personal enrichment. The allegations painted a troubling picture of a mayor who used her position to create a system of favoritism and self-dealing. The testimony suggested that Henyard had turned the village government into a tool to serve her personal interests, undermining the trust and accountability that are essential in any functioning democracy. As Dolton faced mounting financial difficulties, the community's concerns grew. Many residents earned far less than Henyard's own considerable salary, raising questions about how much of their tax dollars had been misused for her personal indulgences. At a time when the village desperately needed funding for essential services such as infrastructure, education, and public health, Henyard's alleged actions seemed to prioritize her own comfort over the very people she was elected to serve.